Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us for a Tuesday live stream. Obinato Crypto. I have my guest, Chris Cruzy, in the house.
Hey, everybody.
And Steve from Cosmic Force.
Hey, how are you doing? Yeah, I can hear them.
That's right. Nobody clapped for me, but they clapped for you guys. So, yeah. Hey, thanks for being here.
Oh, this is for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Go on, Ode.
I'm clapping on the inside.
Yeah, I know, right? we have a fun show planned for you today. We'll talk a little bit about this and a little bit about that. There's some great, there's some headlines. I shouldn't say they're great. There's some impressive headlines that have happened in the crypto community in the last 24 hours that I will be covering here very shortly. But just to kick this off, not financial advice. We're not the people that tell you you shouldn't listen to anything we say and take it to heart. Other than these are our opinions. And if you want to follow what we're saying we do, that's great. But we're going to tell you, we might share, this is what I do in this situation. But please be sure to do your own research and be sure to understand one important thing. You're responsible for your own decisions, not us, not anybody else. So I digress. With that said, how are things today, Steve, on the other side of the pond? How's the weather?
Good. Yeah, the weather is good. It's cloudy at the moment. It's been pretty hot. I know in the UK it's been going through like a heat wave, and everybody goes, "Oh, yeah, well, and I don't. If I start saying temperatures, it'll be like, "Oh, you're doing the wrong scale." But it's in the 30s.
No. Go with Celsius.
In the 30s. Yeah, in the 30s. But anyway, they call it an Indian summer. So
yeah.
So usually in the UK, and by the way, I'm based in the Canary Islands, but we have close connections with everything going on in the UK. But they say it's an Indian summer, and what actually happened is the beginning of what we call summer in the UK. It was warm, and then I think there was like 2 or 3 days of summer. Literally, it starts, and there's 2 or 3 days. That's it, and this is while all the kids were off school, and and the minute that all the children go back to school and they have to go back into the classrooms and study, Indian summer starts, and it's like glorious temperatures. Everybody should be on the beach. You know what I mean? That's what's happening over there. So.
That's really cool. No, I know the term very well. We get those once in a while in my state of Washington, and it's still decent outside. I think we'd be in I think it'd be the low 30s, high 20s. It's dropped down into the lower 60-degree Fahrenheit range during the day. And the overnight lows are getting close to the low 50s. And next week, we're looking at just 10 degrees above freezing for overnight temperatures. So it's starting to wind down. So I love seeing the sun. That makes me happy. I mean, if there's one thing that makes Odinato happy, it's the sun. I love seeing the sun. And it's about ready to disappear for the next 8 months, because that's what it's like around here, which I think is pretty similar to London. Overcast a lot in the autumn and winter time.
Well, yeah, I mean, we used to live in Scotland, and it could really go dark 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's true, it's but I guess anyone that lives up in Alaska or like northern Canada, it's the same sort of thing, isn't it? So in the winter it's dark all the time, but in the summer you get long days in the summer, so you got to work it out, or if you can move around, like follow the sun, travel and follow the sun.
I have a ninja friend that lives up by Nome, Alaska. He's just above the Arctic Circle. And I've talked to him on the show a few times backstage, and it's just like, what's it like? And he says, dude, you have no idea. He's anything above freezing, they're in shorts and tank tops, and because that's kind of warm for them. Getting into the 40s is like summertime, but because most of the time it's well below freezing where he lives. And he works out. He has a ninja. He has a salmon ladder and some other iconic things, a warped wall outside. And I've seen him on Instagram a few times, and I'm just like, dude, no way. Ain't worth it.
I tell you what, they're tough up there, aren't they?
They are a totally different breed. I'm such a wussy compared to those guys.
Wow. Like you said,
so Chris,
little bit of sun and they're out. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of sun is like, oh my God. That's what it's like here in the Seattle area too. It's like a little sun comes out and everybody's like, oh dear Lord. And it's
Yeah.
like, dude, it's still December. It's cold outside. So, well, Steve, wanted to ask if you had any updates. I know just because you don't have massive updates, all the time. I mean, you're always working
Yeah.
like crazy. I can't
There
even.
is good reason. There's good reason for it, and the
Yeah.
reason is right now it's all about getting our heads down, and we're thick in game development. So, on one side of everything going on, I know we have the DApp and we have the NFTs and everything that goes along with crypto, and of course in the background we're building the blockchain. But underneath everything, we need and we want to come up with the product that it's all about, and that's the Cosmic Force game. So really, over the last week, we've been designing new maps, we've been building gameplay, we've been getting ready for the release that we're promising for October. And just to remind people, the release in October is going to be limited. Walk around the base, the home base, and you're going to be able to then go on to simulators to do all kinds of gameplay. So initially, it's going to be some first-person shooting, and we're looking at doing simulator flying. I know you're into the simulator, aren't you? Flight simulators, but
Yeah.
I've seen
regular.
Oh yeah,
It doesn't matter. Anything that flies and needs a joystick, I am there.
So we're going to be introducing the simulator, so people can train up on how to fly the starship, the fighter ship, and then also giving people the first access to the planets using the drone footage. So this is the exciting bit. This is the exciting bit about everything we're doing. When we start getting these visuals together. Recently, I've been playing a game. It's new out called Fort Solis. I don't know if anybody's been playing that. It's a very immersive game, and it's described as a Netflix game. So in other words, it's like you're in a Netflix series, and it's very contrived. You've got to do the route and you've got to do the tasks that are laid before you, and you can't really wander off the beaten track too much. What we're trying to do something different, that we create an open world that you can explore. You can go off the beaten track. You won't be walking into invisible fences, all that kind of stuff. But it's not a criticism of Fort Solis. I just wanted to give it a shout out. It's a good game. It's got good production quality. So that's good. And then I think the last thing I wanted to do is just give some update on what's been happening in the actual DeFi, GameFi side of things, with the DApp. And
sounds good.
And some numbers that we're up to. So on the CFX, we have a Cosmic Force token, which is the in-game token, and it's been people like buy into it and then use the token to then buy NFTs. And as the amount goes up, the bonus goes up for it going live in October. We're going to be going live on Binance in October with liquidity. So we are very, very near the 100K mark, which means once it hits 100K, and that's probably about $3,500 before it hits the 100K, we go into the next bonus amount. So then it's an extra 5% that comes back on that. Not financial advice, but we will be releasing the token with the bonus at that point in time. And if you remember on the last show, we said we're looking at backing it with gold as well. So that's
I remember that
conversation.
The Ferengi in me from Star Trek, gold press platinum. I heard the gold. I never missed. Never missed the gold part.
And one exciting thing, right, on the OG front. So this is the top NFT that you can have with the biggest discounts of 35%. Everything going on this one. We only have a limited run of 99 NFTs for that. There's only 21 left. 21 OGs. They're never going to be minted again. We have sold some alphas. We're up to 19 planet co-ownership and 27 like smaller co-ownerships of planets. So that's a good number that we're getting there. And then I guess the biggest excitement, and I know it's going to be a topic of conversation, like today, is all about nodes. The nodes that we are releasing for the Cosmic blockchain, we're up to 48 nodes sold,
Nice.
which is pretty good. And there's 7 light nodes sold as well. So in the background, there's actually more nodes than that, because nodes are airdropped to the planet owners as well. So there's a good number of nodes there. And right now, I can say that we're looking good for being decentral when it comes to launching the blockchain. But now I'm going to hand it over to everything else that's going on, because we've got Vitruveo, and it's all about the nodes and everything going on there, isn't it? So exciting times.
Very exciting. Your project excites the heck out of me. I love anything to do with space. It's just fun. I mean, I know it won't be in our lifetime. We're not going to be visiting. You and I, as regular citizens of the planet, will not be visiting Mars or anything. I mean, I don't doubt that in our lifetime that someone will set foot on maybe Mars, and that first step going past the moon in real life will happen, and then Kryptonian is going to have an absolute conniption.
Would you want to go to space? By the way,
I don't know if he does or doesn't, but you know that he doesn't believe we walked on the moon. And he's listening right now. He knows I'm jabbing at him. He knows it because he doesn't feel we ever walked on the moon. And so it's a fun, it's a little fun back and forth. But so I don't know, brother, what are you going to do, Kryptonian? If you're listening, what are you going to do if we actually land on Mars? How are you going to debunk that one? So we'll leave that. I'll have to send him a message later to flip him some crap. But Dadbod Veteran, by the way, I thought this was good to bring up. He says he only needs one more planet.
Dadbod, he's on a mission, right? So I know his mission. His mission is to have ownership, part ownership of every single planet. So he only needs one more, and he's got the full set.
Very cool.
We love him.
Razzmatazz. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
That's it. I'm just saying we love Dadbod because I've got one as well. Yeah.
And I'm excited to announce that I have acquired an OG NFT from Cosmic Force, and I also have a full node, and I'm working on putting the funds together so that I can buy a 1% of a planet. So I'm working on that action. So I'm hoping that there will be some left when I'm ready. So far, so good. So we'll see. But yes, I'm hoping to be able to get that next, and that's very cool. So just working a little overtime at work. Making it happen.
Well, the thing is, like we're really not into the odd sell, right? What I would say on the planet co-ownership, the 1% planet, 19 have been sold. There's a total of 300. Is it? Yeah, there's 300 there, and so let me just double check on the numbers in front of me. And
there's
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry on that one. Yeah, sorry, it's a small one. There's 60. All right, so we are a third.
I was going to say something, but
we are.
Are you using the new math? Is that UK math? What are you using?
Yeah, I don't know. I was using some weird math then, or maths, But the thing is, we will be there will be available right up to Christmas until mainnet. So there is a good chance. There's a good amount of time. As long as we don't get any mad rush, like Black Monday sales or whatever, So, but we're not going to be doing anything crazy like that. I think everything we have in place is quite good for everybody. So, I appreciate everybody that wants to do anything. So, all in good time order, no rush.
Absolutely. Hugh, you have a question for the stream, and I just wanted you to know, if you're still watching, I will bring it up here in just a few moments. First, I wanted to, while we're on the subject of Cosmic Force and we're talking about nodes and planets, Biz Entertainment has a great question for the node holders. What tech requirements will be required?
Okay, so I know we're going to be talking about some different nodes later for Vitruveo, and that's a different matter on that front. Now for Cosmic Force, we're doing something slightly different, and we're making the nodes into a DAO. So initially, when you buy the nodes, you're buying a share of a node in the beginning, right? So in the beginning, there's going to be 7 physical node servers, of which you will have a share of the power that's going on for these nodes that are running, right? So what does that mean? That means that you don't have to have any server that you have set up yourself, that's a dedicated server for yourself. And part of the mechanism is that the income that comes in from 1 million coins that are being like dropped over a 5-year period, and these are the cosmic coin, the native coin of the blockchain, they're going to be dropped to the node owners over a 5-year period. And part of the node owners will actually be the DAO for the node server. So some income will come to the node server, and therefore it will be paying for its node services for actual the server. Everything like that will be covered through the node running as a DAO. If there's anything left over from the running of the servers, that will be up for vote for the DAO, the node DAO owners on what happens to that. And then if we talk about 5 years down the line, that there is like a migration path on that front where eventually you will need a server, but by then technology might have changed a little bit, so the requirements that I say today may be a little bit different. But normally it isn't like a super powerful computer that you would need, and basically you're better off to cloud serve everything that you need that way. So right now, the tech requirements for node holders for, if you're talking about the Cosmic blockchain, is that you don't need any tech requirements. You just need the node NFT, and that gives you access to the DAO, access to the rewards, and access to the 5-year plan that we've got laid out. So, and it's all in the white paper as well if you want to read up on that. But thanks for the question.
Cool. Yeah, I think it's a great question, because although you've covered it before, not everybody's seen it, and it's fair enough. And I'm glad that
it's a good question.
Yeah, it's a really great question, because
yeah,
especially if you're like only familiar with Vitruveo and all the iterations up to this point, you may not understand it. Honestly, I've never owned a node prior to Vitruveo, and so a great question. Thank you, Biz, for bringing that up, because everybody has different experience around that. Like I just said, I'm brand new to all of this stuff too. I like the way that you're doing it, though. That they're going to be on the same server as the servers that are running the game, or is it the game or the blockchain?
Okay, so
how do we say that?
Okay, so the servers,
straight in my head.
Yeah, number one priority is that the servers are node servers, so they are for validation of the blockchain. But one aspect that we're looking into is actually making another use of the servers, which again, I'm excited to hear that Vitruveo are on the same path, and that means we're either all right or we're all wrong. But I think there's a lot of intelligent people around on this one, and I think we're actually all right. So what we decided to do for the nodes on the Cosmic blockchain is to make them into game servers as well. So as we get more and more people playing, more and more traffic, there will be more and more servers in the background. So it starts with 7, but then down the line it could end up being like 200 or 300, but whatever the optimum number would end up being in the future. And all of these servers could act as actual game servers as well as being node validators. And of course, if you're running a game server as well, then yes, you need some rewards to come to you for that. So I don't want to jump the gun with Vitruveo, but I like what they're doing there with the IPFS, International.
IPSF? I get that backwards. I think it's
interplanetary filing system. That's it.
Yeah, I when I heard that on the live, I think it was on Chris's live on Sunday. I was like, I what? So I had to look into it. I'm like, okay, Google, hit me. So Hugh has a question for you, Steve. Sorry if this has been asked, but what sort of GPU/CPU will Cosmic Force require?
Okay. So we haven't released the definitive guide on this, but I mean the optimum. The optimum is that would be that people have like a. Let's think. If you talk about, it's all to do with graphics. Graphics cards are the most important, So I always get mixed up on version numbers and that. But if you talk about the
like
the
NVIDIA
range,
RTX cards, for instance?
Yeah, the NVIDIA RTX. So the cards that we've been using and testing on have been like 3070s. So we've got 3070, 3080, 3090. But them are like more like I wouldn't say top of the range because now there's the 4090s around. So they should run quite all right on the previous generations, which would be the 2070.
Those are still very, very impressive cards for how old they are in computer years. They're very impressive cards. So I have a 3080. I have two 3080s, but if I had a 2700 series or a 2000 series, I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah. So right.
Good
so the
cards.
the game will have settings in there, so you can set what quality of graphics you want. So it will be able to adapt to different cards. Because we haven't got older cards up to now, we've not been able to test on older. Once we go live with what we're calling the pre-alpha, then the actual community will be able to test and give us feedback, and it'll be good to get feedback on all different setups to like what's the frame rate. We're aiming to have 60 frames per second is what we want to be, the optimum frame rate. But again, it all depends on how busy a scene is, and the settings that you can set as well, and then what resolution your actual screen is as well. So more times than any, it's down to the graphics card, and then in the background you could have like an i7 or an i9, but there could be even a slower processor should be able to do the job as well, So, but I'm only talking like what we've tested on so far. Really, we need some more old computers here that we can test. I do know that if you have a laptop with a built-in graphics card that's an older laptop, you're going to struggle on that. I do know that. It needs to be a dedicated sort of gaming laptop or a setup with a separate graphics card. Usually the machine that's got a built-in graphics card, apart from a dedicated gaming laptop, you're going to struggle a little bit. And that's what you're going to find out there is the frame rate's going to be really bad. You're going to have it on the lowest quality and the lowest size of screen. So, very shortly we're going to get some numbers out there, but we just needed to just double check some things before we put that out there, so.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, that's always something that's on everybody's mind. What kind of hardware do I need? So yeah, that's cool. We'll be excited to find out.
Yeah, sorry for the ambiguous answer. It's just that we haven't done the thorough testing on older machines, so we can't give a definitive answer just now. But it's something that we're going to come out with like very shortly, I think. Just then people know what they need to buy, if they need to buy any extra equipment, all that kind of stuff. So,
all right, and we're going to segue from that into what is Odie worth today? Drum roll, please. Da, 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 da. Bam! I'm only worth $5. I got $10 last week. I must have missed a chore. Mrs. Odinato only gave me $5 this week, so I must be in trouble, and I don't even know it yet. Thank you, Mrs. Odie, yeah, Scorpio, for the super sticker. I appreciate that. She's the best. She puts up with all my crap and hasn't kicked me out yet. But that's always open. Oh, goodness gracious. So Robert, and I think it's pronounced, is it Duchette? I'm not sure. I want to say Duchev. I'll just say Robert. He says, "Good morning, everyone. Hope you all have a blessed day. I know you guys are busy, so I'll try not to bother. You're not bothering us, Robert, at all, please." He says, "Thanks for all you have done. I'm asking if you can put my GoFundMe page up." Oh, that's right, Robert.
Yeah, I'll give me a minute, Robert. I'll pull it up.
Do you have it? Okay. I forgot. I did see that was on a recent live. Robert has a family loss, and things have gone took a turn for him recently in this last week. So our hearts are with you, Robert. And yes, thank you, Chris. If you still have that, that's really great. And he follows up with, "I really appreciate it. Thank you." Yeah, we're glad to help out in the community. So all my best thoughts to you, Robert. Absolutely. And Hugh says, "What's up, guys? Glad to catch a stream for once." Well, cool. I'm glad that my time slot worked for you, Hugh. I know it doesn't work for most people. We don't have the numbers of folks watching that might be able to watch more in the evening, depending on where you are in the world. But I know that most of the folks here in my country don't have it. I mean, they're at work right now, most people. So, but I go to work. I work from 1:30 p.m. my local time until 9:30 p.m. And that's actually changing in a couple of weeks. I'll be working from 1 p.m. until 11 p.m. I'll be working 4 10-hour shifts Monday through Thursdays coming up here in a few weeks through the winter time. I'm changing my schedule. So I'll still have this time slot. So if you have a chance to watch, always appreciate you being here. If you have questions or comments or feedback, please go ahead and put them in the comments. And check it out, my buddy Bobby Mix. He says, "We're clapping for all of you in the chat." Oh, yeah, my comment at the beginning. And
That's
Bobby will notice
Bobby.
I'm wearing one of my favorite shirts. Bobby gave this to me a couple years ago. So right on, my man. Right on. Back at you. So, and then Razmataz has some German. Is it Drex Dumfirmlein? Firmlein? I can't say it. I don't speak German.
No. He's saying Dunfermline. Dunfermline, which is in, well,
Drech.
It's weird because Dunfermline is in Scotland, so for a moment I was thinking, is it somebody that I know who knows I used to live in Dunfermline in Scotland?
Oh, so that's not German then. Okay, gotcha.
I mean, Drech, I don't know what that could be German as well, but Dunfermline is definitely a town in Scotland. So,
well, you're more well traveled than I am. So,
give more information. What are you talking about, Raz?
Yeah. Sai Yang became a YouTube member. I don't know which channel, but thank you, whichever channel you became a member of, because we are multi-streaming across 8 different channels right now on YouTube. And unfortunately, the service that we're using has no way to tell us which channel. So whichever channel you joined, thank you so much. We always appreciate that, Sai. Thank you. And see if I've missed, so I can catch up on. Oh, here we go. Dadbod Veteran says, "Any mining updates?"
Okay.
For Cosmic Force.
Odie, real quick. That's on.
Yeah.
That's on Greek's channel.
On Greek's channel. Thank you so much, Chris. And on behalf of Greek, thank you, Sai.
And I can see the GoFundMe information's up there as well, which is good. So that's on all channels. You got the power, haven't you, Chris? You got the power to do what you need to do.
Well, actually, the GoFundMe was posted by Biz. Biz got
Oh, thank you, Biz.
I was going to get it, and I went to
Biz
go
is here.
post it, and I was like, there it is. So Biz
Au contraire, like Biz has the power.
Biz has all of the power. Yeah.
Yeah. He's always there.
He can put us backstage if he wants to.
He must be omnipresent.
Let me talk about this here. Ripple Rider.
Yeah,
I don't. It says, "Are you crushed?" I'm absolutely 100% not crushed by investing in that token. So if you think for something you're trying to goat me into something, it's not going to happen. I'm not crushed by it. I'm not concerned at all. So You can continue to put your comments in there, and like you asked before, you're not going to be banned. I don't know why it's like you're coming in to try to start something or whatever, but you're not going to be banned. If you've made money and you've done well, congratulations. I hope everybody does well. So go on back.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree with you, Chris. You know, I don't know how things devolved in our greater community where there seems to be this, you're either on one side or the other side when it comes to the worldwide token. I myself haven't invested. I have my own personal reasons. And some folks I think are upset in the worldwide token camp. I'm not saying everybody, I'm not putting you all in a box, but there are some individuals, and I'm not saying that Ripple Writer is one of them, but there are some individuals I've seen in different Discords that are all up in arms because we didn't all invest in it to support that project. And just because we're friends doesn't mean I'm going to invest in your project. You know, I'm still friends with Daniel. You know, we talk once in a while, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to invest in his project. You know, if Chris Cruzy puts out a project that I don't want to invest in, I'm not going to invest in it for the reasons that I have. I keep my own personal reasons. So it's not an us versus them. And I don't know why folks keep kind of going down that road. But for those that are, that's not what it is. You know, I have my reasons for why I didn't want to invest in it. There's a lot of tokens that I don't want to invest in. Should I be have my feet thrown to the fire because I don't want to invest in this one or that one? You know, I can't imagine that those that are that I'm speaking of that are upset that we didn't invest in worldwide token or whatever. You know, are you invested in every one of the tens of thousands of tokens that are out there? If not, then we can hold your feet to the fire. Well, why don't you support them? You know, so I'm just saying, you know, it's not us versus them. That's it. So I digress. I'll move on. But yeah, so we have an answer from Razmataz. I won't pronounce this right. Drake means rubbish weather here in Dunfermline.
Yeah. So okay. So there you go. It is Dunfermline. It is Scotland.
Dunfermline. Okay, Dunfermline.
Dunfermline.
The extra syllables. It
Dunfermline.
I'm not so good.
Yeah, I used to live right next door to Dunfermline in a little place called Crossford. When I moved there, because I'm originally from England and lived in Scotland for over 10 years, I used to think that Crossford would be pronounced Crossford, because it sounds Scottish. I live in Crossford.
Yeah.
And then I was corrected immediately because it's actually the kingdom of. It's Dunfermline is in the Kingdom of Fife, isn't that right, Raz?
Oh.
And as such, it's not Crossford, it's Crossford. So there's, you never know how to pronounce things, but yeah, I know what you're talking about now, but it wasn't a term I was using all the time. It's a small world after all.
I can piss Razmataz off really easily without even trying because I'm American. And we see a particular city on the map in Scotland, and we call it Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
Yeah, we call it anything with B-U-R-G-H. In America, it's Berg, and that's a lot of stuff from the east part of the country, like Pennsylvania. There's a lot of Bergs, Virginia, that kind of stuff, and it's not Borough. And I don't know how long ago. It was maybe a couple years ago. I heard someone being interviewed on a talk show or whatever, and they said I'm from Edinburgh, and so I'm like, I don't get it. How do you spell Edinburgh? So that's really cool. It's really cool how different languages can spell things with the same characters, but totally pronounce it different.
And so like for example, in England, what I said Birmingham, right? We would say Birmingham, but in America, you would say Birmingham.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they're still the same place. If you asked to go there, you'd still get to the same place. So it doesn't matter. So it's all good.
But London is London.
It is. It is.
Yeah. So at least that one, we can get that right.
That's right. All roads lead to London. Maybe.
Yeah.
But okay, so Dadbod, there was a question saying any mining updates, right? So at the moment, on purpose, we have it in the roadmap. We talk about There's going to be mining claims. There's going to be blueprints. There's going to be manufacturing. There's going to be refining. There's going to be a lot of other activities that are going to come into play, and anything down them lines are going to be talked about and released in October. Now, I know people want an indication on what the price is going to be, all this kind of stuff. And at the moment, we're sort of, it's not that we're purposely not announcing that. We're just concentrating on getting the gameplay like finished, because this is now top priority. But in between, we will take a look, and then we will give some indication on a ballpark on what we're talking about, because actually there's quite a lot of detail that we're going to be going into when it comes to mining and the resources, and certainly when it comes to manufacturing. It's not an easy task to put into a game, and we want to get it right from the beginning, you know. And I'm sure you can, Odie, I'm sure you can understand some of the complexities that would be involved with resources that then become, you know, a raw ore that is then refined and then made into something, and then the resources required with a blueprint to then manufacture something. And if you're manufacturing something, are you manufacturing a finished product, or are you manufacturing a part to then another manufacturer that's going to assemble them together? So it's what level of complexity do we start in the beginning, you know? So we're working out the solution that we can roll, like we're saying with the game. We want to roll things out in a way that it makes sense. But certainly mining is coming. Mining claims are coming, and everything else that comes into it. And this is it all comes together with the actual marketplace when this comes into existence as well. So everything's got to sort of be released at the same time when it comes on to that front, to make it all work together. So thanks for being interested. It's all coming.
Absolutely. And Dad Bod Veteran, yup, Berg. We say everything wrong, and we're proud of it. No, in all honesty, no, I do like, I have an affinity for learning about other cultures. At my work, there are people from all over the world that I work with, some wonderful people. We have a lot of folks from India, from various states in India. We have folks from, Russia, Ukraine, Kenya, Ethiopia. I'm not going to be able to mention them all. Bulgaria, some of the Baltic states. That's one from Estonia. Just all over the world. Hungary, we have one person from Hungary, and it's just fun that, you know, I get to meet folk. I get to work with folks from all over the world. Seattle's is one of the many melting pots around the world. For the most part, we have folks from Asia, East Asia. We have a ton of folks from the Philippines, Guam. Nobody from Japan, which I'm kind of surprised, but okay. But you know, Vietnam, a lot from China, Korea. Anyway, yeah, I love learning about other cultures, and I'm hoping that my travels outside of this country will not be limited to Canada and Dubai. I'm hoping in the years to come I can do a lot more travel. Go to your part of the planet, all over the place, because you only live once, right?
I'm sure you will.
And I mean, just to travel across America, just to stay within my own country, to get to where Chris lives out by the East Coast, it's a lot of money. For what I would pay to go visit Chris this afternoon, if I was to get on a plane, I could fly all across Europe end to end like 3 or 4 times easily, if not more. It's just amazing how we get price gouged like crazy here. It could cost me $600 each way, $600 US each way, depending on if I how far ahead. If I buy 3 or 4 months ahead, I might get a better deal. But yeah, it's just, I mean, I've seen EasyJet, I've seen, documentaries, and I mean, you can pay as little as like 30 euros to go from London to somewhere like in Eastern Europe. I mean,
usually it's like a last minute sort of booking that is possible. Later on in the year, we're traveling to the mainland, so mainland Spain, from the Canaries, and for 2 people, we're talking well, let's say it's $120 for 2 people return, which is like pretty good, you know.
Wow.
So, but yeah, I mean, I talked to you before about a few years ago, I think 4 years ago now, we came over to America to film a documentary, and we traveled right across America. So we flew. I would say some of the internal flights in America are when I say horrendous, I'm talking about standing in lines, and the amount of time in like New York, you know, we had to stand in line to get on the plane, and then on the other side, it was just absolutely crazy. But the privilege that we had is that we hired a car in San Francisco, and we ended up like driving right across all different states, quite a few different states, and then all the way back to New York, you know, and this was like going down to California, and then across Arizona, and then through Texas, and through I don't know, lots of different places.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
We ended up all over the place, but it was good to see the actual the diverse like cultures, because in America there isn't just one culture. It's different everywhere you go. It is different, you know. So I can understand a lot of people not traveling out of America too much, because there's a lot there. There's a lot to go at. So, you know, think about like the good side of things as well, you know, on America.
Yeah, and I would love to be able to see more of my own country. I've been in about a quarter of the states in the United States. It's just expensive time, and we don't get the amount of time off that folks in Europe tend to get. I mean, when you start out in a job these days, you're lucky if you start off with, you get 2 weeks of vacation per year. And some jobs you have to be there for a certain amount of time. The old standard 10, 20 years ago, and before that, you had to work there for 12 months before you could take any time off. You couldn't use your sick leave for one job I had. I couldn't use sick leave for the first 6 months. If I called out sick, I had to sign a contract. If I called out sick even once in the first 6 months, I was fired.
Whoa!
With no recourse. And depending on which part of the country, what state you live in our country, the laws are all completely different, of course. And so in some states, you can be, like in Washington State, you can be fired without cause, and you can sue in court, but it's very hard to. I mean, you have to have something really solid. But either party, you can terminate your employment, or they can terminate your employment without any notice. But some states, it's totally different. So anyway, it's just interesting how the world works, and lots of different places. Absolutely.
And I guess, you know, I guess this is why people are interested in DeFi and doing something different, and being able to work remote and hopefully able to earn some passive income, all that kind of stuff, you know, because we need more freedom to be able to enjoy time with family and that, you know. So that's all I'm saying on that front. So yeah. Actually, before I get to this, Artis, just on this that Rich put up. Yeah, we're a big union state here too, Rich. I'm union. I've been union actually most of my life. So I personally don't like being in a union because the politics have changed over the decades that I've been in one. I like the pay. It gets me great pay, and it gives me amazing benefits. And the fact that I work for the government helps as well. But in my union, we can't go on strike. It's actually against federal law because I'm a public servant. So public, like the police, fire departments, things like that, you're not allowed to strike. We have to go to arbitration if we can't get, what we want to have done. So that's kind of annoying. But yeah, we can't strike in this union. I've been in other unions where we did go on strike. But anyway, I hear you, Rich. I hear you. RS says, how ecosystem from Cosmic Blockchain will work? Any marketing? Yeah. So in the white paper, we outline that through sales of token, through sales of the actual coin, and basically actual sales of NFT as well. Basically, there is a percentage that goes into marketing. Right now, Cosmic Blockchain and Cosmic Force, we haven't done any marketing, any paid marketing. We haven't done any campaigns that we've paid any marketeers to get involved. And there's a reason for that, because there's quite a a lot of people out there, and they want to do this, that, and the other. They say they want to post to thousands of people on Twitter or X, and they want to do this and that. And it's all about effectiveness. And at the moment, the best marketing that we can have is word of mouth. And I know it sounds really old-fashioned, but the best thing that's happening for Cosmic Force is that over time, more and more people get to know about it because somebody says, "Oh, did you see this?" And then somebody else comes along, and the number of times that I've talked to somebody that said, "Oh, I was recommended to come and have a look at this," and that's the way it's been happening. Of course, this is not sustainable, and we will be doing bigger marketing. And this is mainly coming when we can show gameplay. And we're talking about being able to market to the bigger game world and to attract non-crypto people to get into the actual game, which is the product that we're creating. So if you talk about the ecosystem from a crypto point of view is all built into the game, and this is through Planet co-ownership. This is through the mining claims that Dadbod is talking about. This is through the nodes that are part of the blockchain system, and also on the blockchain, we're actually opening up that other games will be able to use the blockchain because it's a dedicated gaming blockchain. So we've got a lot of things going on, but definitely the word marketing is going to be coming into play pretty soon when it comes to Cosmic, because it feels like now the pump is primed. We've been working very hard for the last year. We've got a great community that we know. New people that come into the community are going to be welcomed and are going to be given the right information. And so it feels like that the time's good for them sort of things to happen. So yeah, thanks for that, Oris.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it's time. Let's go ahead and do something different. I'd like to bring up, we have some crypto news that just came up here yesterday on September 11th. And I thought it was interesting to bring up, and it's not good either. I mean, it's unfortunate news, but I don't know who out there has heard about the news with Vitalik Buterin's Twitter account was hacked yesterday, and almost $700,000 was drained from victims' wallets. I was reading through this when I was eating breakfast this morning, and I was like, oh, dear Lord, now what happened? It looks like victims allegedly suffered losses exceeding $691,000 due to a malicious link falsely promoting a free NFT. And that's terrible. It's just terrible. Someone, one, went out of their way and to do that, and then two, didn't and it went forward and put some malicious code out there and bamboozled some people, fooled them, and that just stinks. That's just another example of course, what sucks. But here's the thing: I hope the news doesn't make this. Well, they probably will because they're sensational. But I can see this being twisted to where hey, crypto's not safe, blah blah blah. Well, you know what? At least in this country, your U.S. dollars aren't necessarily safe in a bank either. I mean, the stuff that banks get away with, good old-fashioned, banks. I guess it's really around the world. The financial meltdown of 2007-8 that lasted, the effects that lasted for years, it pretty much affected the whole planet. And I think it started here, if I'm not mistaken, with subprime loans and all that kind of crap. But yeah, it was. I mean, I was affected by that. My wife and I had bought our second home in 2008, and one day before we were supposed to close on the loan, it disappeared. And that was right at the beginning of everything crashing and going down. And it was just terrible. And, what happened affected people everywhere, every walk of life. You got affected. So it's not just crypto, but this does highlight, I guess you could say, be safe. You need to be as safe as you possibly can. Check the links before you click on them, and just, if you don't know how to be safe, ask one of us. Ask someone else that you know really well that's been in the space for a long time, because it sucks. Like, the worst thing is losing your hard-earned money, and that's just not cool. a lot of us, of course, we almost lost all of our hard-earned money with the last characters in the former Seifu X blockchain, right? And then Vulcan. And luckily for us, we had somebody that stepped in and has a vision, and now we at least have a chance. And there's some folks in the I'll touch on that for a moment. I'm on my pulpit, I'm going to use it. So some folks have their reservations about Nick, or have outright said, oh, this is wrong, and blah blah, and I don't understand all this stuff about art and all that crap, they'll say. And I'm like, well, that crap makes billions and billions of dollars per year. And I think a lot of folks, myself included to begin with, wanted, we're looking for just being able to trade coins and tokens and stuff, and you can still do that. Nobody took that away. When the blockchain is launched, when it's up and going, there's nothing stopping you from being able to do what you always want, what you want to do. You don't have to get into the art and the NFT art and all that kind of stuff, and music and movies and all of that stuff. But that's definitely going to bring in over time. I do believe in it. I believe that there is definitely a place for Nick's vision, and I think that what he's proposing to do with the blockchain as correct me if you guys think I'm wrong, but maybe you could title this as his vision for what he feels that will the blockchain. I lost the words I was going to say, but it's his vision, right? For the main purpose of the blockchain, or the main.
Yeah, the unique selling. Yeah. It's like the unique selling point of the blockchain.
Yes.
Yeah. You've got to have some purpose, like what differentiates it from all the others. That's what you're talking about there, isn't it?
Yeah. And Dad Bod, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not an art. I'm not an art person, me neither. But Nick is looking to solve a problem. This sort of thing does not exist. It can be great, and it can. And I think those that don't have the vision, or don't understand the vision, or have a hard time with that type of thing, with somebody else's vision, it's hard for them to put themselves in that position where they can go, oh yeah, scratch your beard a little bit, get some thought. And you're like, okay, I get it. And if you don't, that's fine. Just remember, that's not the only thing this blockchain's going to be doing. You don't have to be into the art. You can do anything on this blockchain. You'll be able to do like you do on any other blockchain. But we're going to focus, I guess you could say, maybe that's a good word. It's going to focus on getting folks into this space that aren't into this space, and make it as easy as possible. Because right now, holy crap, right? What you have to go through just to get into crypto. I spent a good 6 months figuring out, with lots of mistakes, how to move around in MetaMask and this and that, and learning how to be safe. And it's a real pain in the butt. It really is. And you have to be vigilant, use different passwords for different websites, and don't take a picture of your seed phrase, because if your Google account or wherever you store it in the cloud gets hacked, that could be bad. Lots of things. But anyway, yeah. So I think that we're heading in the right direction, and at least we're heading in a direction. Seriously, folks, those of you that are naysayers, that are upset, you don't like it, don't understand it, what's the alternative? Because the alternative really was, we're not going anywhere. Poof. Our investment is completely gone. At least we have a chance, right? And Rich also says, Nick made the blockchain have utility. There was none before. I like that. Thank you for bringing that up. That's perfect. Yes, it has utility. It didn't have any utility before. I'm excited. I don't understand jack diddly squat about art. You can throw a Picasso in front of me, a Rembrandt. I mean, you name it. I don't get it. I mean, the art that I'm used to looking at is from when my kids were little, and stuff with crayons and stuff.
That's priceless, though, isn't it? That's priceless art.
Yeah, and I have some of that in my office that you can't see because the camera's not pointed at it. But one of my favorite pieces of art in recent is actually there's a kid that's a fan of mine for American Ninja Warrior, and he follows me on Instagram, and he sent me a private message, and he said, hey, he was about 12 a couple years ago when he messaged me, and he said, hey, I was wondering if I could, if you wouldn't mind if I were to draw a picture of you doing one of the ninja obstacles on the show. And when they showed you last time, and I was like, man, I'd be honored. This is a 12-year-old kid, right? and he's from Massachusetts. I found out and stuff, and I said, "Yeah, if you want to, go for it, man. That'd be great. Why did you have to ask? You can do what you want." And so he posts it, and he has a ton of us that have been on the show and others that haven't, but many people have been on the show. He's done pictures of them, and then he posts them on Instagram. And it's just like, it's an honor. A 12-year-old thinks I'm cool enough to do a picture. So he did a sketch, and it's back there. I'll have to show it maybe next week or something, because I'm proud of it. And it's a 12-year-old sketch. And then he actually asked me, he's like, "What's your address? And I'll mail it to you." I was like, as long as your parents say it's cool, go for it. And so I gave him my address, and he mailed it to me, and I got it about a week later. And I took a picture of it hanging on my wall. And so anyway, yeah, kind of cool. All right, moving on. Let's see, not that one. This is the other one I was really interested in. Has anybody else in the audience heard about PayPal announced yesterday that they're going to now enable US users to sell cryptocurrency via a MetaMask wallet? Now, for those that use PayPal, I'm one. I actually do use PayPal. I use the other ones like Zelle and some other stuff too, but I do have PayPal. And I think this is interesting because PayPal, they got into the cryptocurrency in a minimalistic fashion a year or 2 or 3 ago, something like that. And I was going, oh, wow. When I first saw that advertisement, I was like, oh, wow, cool. I can buy Bitcoin easy with my PayPal account. And then I went, whoa, put the brakes on, because it has to stay in their closed ecosystem. You can't send it to another wallet. Like you couldn't send it to a crypto wallet, right? And I was like, well, what the hell why would I want to do that if I can't send it anywhere, this exchange, that. And now you can. So I haven't actually set it up yet, and I don't know if I will, but that's a market that is exciting to hear about them tapping. They have, I think it's over 400 million active users still, and they're the old grandpa in this space, but they're still alive and kicking. I mean, there's others that have, surpassed them, but that doesn't mean that they're not there. There's still people that are not into, they don't know how to get into MetaMask and the DeFi space, or even just crypto in general, as easy. And this will make it a lot easier. You'll be able to send assets and off ramp them from your MetaMask or on ramp it now. So they've opened up a whole new ecosystem, which I find very fascinating. So I don't know if anybody else has any thoughts on that. What do you think, Steve, Chris?
Yeah, well, I have. I've been using PayPal for years, and like using it for a business as well for taking payments. Like somewhere I have like a PayPal card machine, so when we do any events and we're selling any retro items, we can just take payments there. So this is like, you imagine like, okay, you've got machine, you can take a credit card payment off somebody, and then this is going into your PayPal account, and you can then translate that into crypto, like just there near enough seamlessly in the background. This is what the world needs. It needs more and more ways of on-ramping and off-ramping, because these are all barriers. These are all barriers to entry, and PayPal, they've been around so long. They've got such a good system for opening a dispute if you're selling any items and people are not happy with the item. You can dispute, and you can basically PayPal will be the judge and jury and decide what to do, and if they need to give you that money back. Now, if they can incorporate them sort of features within PayPal that give that extra level of security to crypto transactions, then I think they're onto something, So so it's certainly not a bad thing.
Yeah, I've actually utilized that the dispute process just a couple of times. I sometimes at Christmas, when it's time for the holidays, which by the way, 2 months for those that celebrate Christmas in America. We're just 2 months away now. Yeah, this is the middle of September. Yeah, we're 2 months in a week.
It's not long off, is it?
Yeah, from the holiday shopping season. And
wow.
I've used PayPal to buy certain things because I want protection. I've used it like if I buy something off of an Instagram or a Facebook advertisement, which I'm very wary of them. I try to be very careful. But if I do buy something, the only way I'll do it is through PayPal. I will always use my PayPal account because of that very thing. Because I have had two people, and they were both out of China. This has nothing to. I'm not bashing China. It just happens to be that that's where a lot of scams come from, and they both did not give me what I asked for. It wasn't even close to the description. And I think that they play the numbers game. A lot of those scammers, they go, well, most people won't bother, and then we can average how much we're going to take in losses from disputes, and we're still going to be in the black. And so yeah, I disputed both of those purchases on different years, and I won, and I got my money back. And it's not, I didn't do that to screw them and keep the item because I threw the item out. I actually asked them to begin with, like, hey, this isn't what I asked for. How do I exchange this? And they wouldn't even talk to me. And that pissed me off. And I'm like, if you're not going to talk to me, I'm talking to PayPal. And it took about a month each time I did it, but I was able to get my money back. So I do like that. And it's a great point that you brought up.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, I'm not sure, I need to look into this article more, because you're talking specifically in the US. I wonder if they're going to be rolling them out in Europe. Are they going to be using the US first to test things and see how it goes? Yeah, it's just like the order that they may roll things out as well, because they're a global company, aren't they? So
yeah, I think, I hope that this is just the beginning. Absolutely. Because Spritz. So you remember when Pride got sponsored by Spritz, and I signed up under Pride's account. And if you haven't heard of it, just briefly, Spritz is a really cool service that's starting in the US. They're going to be moving to Canada and other countries very shortly. And for all I know, they might have already done so. I haven't kept up on that news, but I do have a Spritz account. And so I'll just say that here in the US, that company has started an off-ramp of a sort. So you can use your cryptocurrency to pay your bills, your regular United States bills, your phone. They have thousands and thousands. So my wife and I, we signed up under Pride's account, Crypto Pride, and we looked up our mortgage. We looked up our mortgage company to see if they were there, and they were. We looked up both of our car loans. Both entities are in there, both of those banks. Wow. We even looked up our local public utility bill for our natural gas heat and our electricity, and they were there. Because I don't know about the UK or in the Canaries or in Greater Europe or other places, but in the United States, public utilities for your home electricity and gas and all that, whatever you have, it's regional. And there's usually you don't get a choice. You just have this one, and they're just a regional. They might be in the county or the local area that you live in, right? And I was like, it ain't gonna be there, and it was. So I'm I'm very impressed with Spritz. Yeah. So yeah, you could use BUSD, and I'm sure that's going to change because that's also an announcement that came out that BUSD is going away, or they're not going to be minting it. You heard about that, right?
Yeah. So the thing is with Cosmic, everything that we have in our DApp, right? So that takes USD as a payment is using BUSD, and so we're looking at that, and we have like certain money like stored in BUSD as well. So the thing that we are going to do is look at moving that over to a different stable coin, because it's something that we need to do. In the future, we're not going to be using BUSD. There will be a migration away from it. I did look into it in more detail, that the company behind BUSD is Paxos, which also, interestingly, they have the PaxG gold token, which we were looking at a possibility of as the pairing for the new release of CFX for the liquidity, so we back it with gold. So Paxos as a company are pretty strong. They have a promise that anybody with BUSD, it will be exchanged for USD or a new stable token that they're working on, which is USD. Is it USDP, which will be the USDP, which is US dollar Paxos.
Okay.
I do know Binance, they're talking about a stable coin called FUSD. It gets so complicated, this.
I saw that too. I'm like, FUSD.
Yeah, FUSD. And I just wonder, like, did the Chinese have like a bit of a,
They should have
think
had
about
some of
this?
their American or somebody that's someone that from the West go send it through them and go, excuse me, CZ. We might want to think about changing that ticker.
So whether that's deliberate or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
So
doubt
the minting stopped in February this year. So they were not allowed to mint anymore. This is through I forgot the actual like company, but it's to do with like the New York authorities. It's that's where it's sort of comes from. But what's happening, because they initially created BUSD like for Binance, it's a Binance USD, right? So Paxos and Binance working together to create a stable coin. So what I believe is happening right now is that Paxos are acquiring back, and by the 24th of February, something like that, if I'm right, Paxos will have full acquisition. They will fully own BUSD back, and Binance will not have any shares or anything to do with it going forward. So as a result, Binance are stopping liquidity pairs from being traded, and this is going to cease on the 24th of February. Now, what does it mean to BUSD? It doesn't mean that BUSD is going to disappear off the face of the earth. And it all depends on what Paxos decides to do with it. So I guess what they'll be wanting to do is they'll be wanting to slowly move that liquidity over to the USDP coin token, maybe, and they'll make it easy for people to do that. So I think right now, if you talk about the top, so what's the top stable coin? That's got to be USDT or Tether, should I say?
I would say Tether. Yeah, I would not argue that point. I mean, USDC. I mean, it's up there. I mean, it's also on a lot of platforms, but Tether, I would agree.
So
yeah.
So I think it's something like this. I think Tether are up there. I think they probably have about. Last time I looked a couple of days ago, I think there was like 19 billion, something like that. You're going to look it right up,
I'm
and
gonna
then
try. I thought I'd see.
And then we've got USDC, and I think if they're like between 3 and 4 billion. Like BUSD was at 3 billion. It might be on the lower part of that now. It might be, but we're still talking billions. We're still talking at least 2.5 or 3 billion in there.
Circulating supply of Tether is 83 billion, 25 million.
What was I looking at?
Well, that's what CoinMarketCap is saying, is the 83 plus billion USDT in circulation is what they're saying.
Circulation,
yeah.
That's craziness.
Was there a different metric that's probably better? Let's see.
I don't know.
That's
I
the
don't know
circulating supply.
I don't know what I was looking at.
Well, the volume traded in the last 24 hours, 26,692,719,104.
It could have been the 24-hour trading I was looking at, but we're talking
that's a lot.
Such big numbers, and
that's
then
more than Bitcoin,
and
a lot more than Bitcoin.
Over the months and that, it's been this year has been a big year for like attacking stable coins, and then you just look at the amount that's in there in Tether. It's like, to try and attack and bring Tether down, it's like, how could you do that? It's like, it's just it's just too big. Some people go like too big to go wrong or whatever, you know. So that's you've got to be a little bit. How can I put it? I'm trying to find the right words now. You know,
Too big
no
to fail?
company is too big. No company is too big to fail. Really, no company is too big to fail. But you just have to look at what's going on.
Yeah,
So
look
they're
at
number
the
3.
24-hour.
Wow,
That's crazy. USDC is barely a quarter, not even a quarter of that, at 4.5 billion traded, and then DAI is a lot smaller, only 130.5-ish million. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with it, of course. The market's down, but even with the market down, 26.7 will round it up $1 billion in volume traded. That's nuts. That is absolutely nuts. And it's only going to get bigger as more people get into the crypto space, like we were talking about. And that's where we all come in. We make it, this blockchain can make it easier for folks to get into crypto. You know, some may come in and the first thing that they'll invest in will be something on the Vitruveo blockchain. You never know. It can happen. And I hope it happens for a lot of people. It's funny, you know, you buy stuff, right? Maybe you buy cars, you know, you buy a car, and maybe that's your first car is, I'll just say Ford. I'll just throw that out there. It's a Ford, and you like that Ford, and then maybe your next couple of cars you buy are Fords, or it's a Chevy or some other kind of brand, VW, etc. And you go, well, this is what I'm used to. So, you know, well, there's people like that in crypto as well. There's people like that with traditional banking. I'll take a step back. I've been with the same bank for almost 40 years, 4 decades, just about. I'm used to them. They're not really that different than another bank. I mean, there's little differences and stuff, but I'm with them. I'm like, I'll stick with them. I have the same cellular company. My wife and we've been with the same cellular company for 24 years. And, you know, we like them. It's easy. We stick with them. Well, there's a lot of people that do that in crypto. They get used to, I like this blockchain, or I maybe they don't care about the blockchain. Maybe they just like this method of getting in. So they like an exchange, right? A lot of people will stick to the same exchange. They like Binance. It's easy, whatever. They like KuCoin or whatever. I hate KuCoin. But you know, whatever it is, people will stick with what they know and what they like. A lot of people will. And if we make them feel welcome and make life easy for them to trade on our platform, our blockchain, you know, that's valuable in my opinion. I don't know how else to say it, but I do think that it is it's quite valuable. On a side note, thank you again, Biz, as always, for supporting us. Biz is in the background here and putting out some links, some important links for helping Robert. I hope I say it right. Duchette. That's what I want to say when I see his name. So I hope I said it right. Robert, and with his unfortunate circumstance, he lost a loved one here in the last week, and it's devastated to anybody. You know, it's very devastating. So if you feel that you can give a little bit, there's a GoFundMe link in all channels. So no matter what channel you're watching us on right now, you can go ahead, and you can always come back to the, you know, whichever, to the video afterwards, and it'll be in the comments. Sometimes it does take. Oh, by the way, there's someone, I can't remember who, I apologize. I got a comment on my last live from last week, and they said, hey, Odie, make sure that you leave the live comments available. And I actually don't turn them off, but sometimes YouTube can take hours and even a day after the live is done to process before you can follow the live chat. Sometimes it's instant, and I don't understand the method to that madness with their algorithm. I've noticed some of my videos, as soon as the live is done, bam, it's available and you can see it. But sometimes you'll be playing it back even hours later, and it looks like we turned off the comments. I've only done that one time, and it was by request from Swashbuckler. So Star, back in December, a couple days after we did the all ladies live back in December, she had asked me, hey, can I come on your show? And I'd like to teach everybody, I'd like to have a teaching session about how automated market makers work and how our project that they're doing with OXTP or OXPA, and they're creating a tool for helping you to track your crypto investments and make suggestions for how you can invest. This looks like it's trending up or trending down. And they have an amazing project that they're working on. And so I said, yeah, sure, come on. And she said, but I don't want comments because it'll distract me. So I turned off the comments at her request, and I got a lot of people DMing me afterwards. Dude, why did you turn off the comments? I said, hey, the lady asked. I did whatever she wanted. She was my guest. So that's the only time I've done it, though, just to make sure that we're clear on that. So anyway, but yeah, lots of trading. So what else is going on in the world today? Anything else? Does anybody have any questions on anything we've talked about? Vitruveo. So on Sunday, I'd like to point you to if you haven't had a chance to go back and watch the live that Chris Cruzy hosted, and I think Kryptonium was on there. Confirmant RM, I think, was on there. I think Pride was on there. A couple of guys and from the community, and they were talking to Nick, and it was really informative. There's a tiny URL, so what I'm talking about is Nick talked about the Node Validator Incentive Program, or the VIP program. And even if you don't have a node, it's very helpful if you're an investor in this blockchain and you sacrificed to know about it, because it affects you. If the nodes don't have enough incentive financially to come online, we've got no blockchain, nothing, nada, zip. So you got to make sure that the node holders are going to be, not only do we have to be incentivized, we have to be incentivized so that not only do we break even with what it'll cost to host a node or multiple nodes, we have to be able to make a profit. Nobody's going to bring them online. So it does affect you whether you own a node or not. In that live, and you can look at it on whatever channel you're on right now, all the same channels that this live is going out to right now. You can go back in the history of any one of them to Sunday, and you can find that you can click on the tiny URL that Nick put the slideshow for the presentation, so you can have the, so to speak, and have it in print. There, I was trying to kick it out, and I did. So yeah, it's really great. I'm not going to go into it because there's 12, 13 different points, and they take some time. And you don't want to get it from me. You want to get it from the horse's mouth if you want the details. Yeah. But Nick did a really great job explaining it. He was on the live, I think, for about an hour and a half. And the first hour-ish, I think, is about the amount of time that he took to go into it. And that is including taking questions. So reading through it is actually a pretty quick.
But he did something. He did something really like novel, didn't he? Because he came and said, "Okay, this is the idea of what we're thinking to put together, but it's not set in stone. This is just the idea of what we want to do. And right now we're going to put this document out, and we're going to say, right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the bits that you like, the bits that you don't like, any extra ideas." And then at one point, he even opens the document up that other people can sort of comment on there as well, So the thing I like, and this is what I like a lot, is originally when I got into the sort of crypto world, the crypto community, you get the odd person on YouTube that would show the face. And there'd even be YouTube channels where there'd be somebody wearing a mask because they don't want to be identified because they're talking about crypto. It's like, what are you, like a devil worshipper or something? It's like craziness. Now we come full circle where crypto is not a bad word. It's a technology. Blockchain is a technology, and it's there to protect people. It's there to actually help the community, help people be able to work together in a secure way, right? And then we've got people like Chris. Chris. Yeah, of course, Chris. Like Austin channels. That there's a lot of people in this community, and we all, get involved, and then Nick puts out the paper and then asks, right, this is what it is. Give me feedback. How can it be changed? How can it be made better? So it feels like we're in the next stage of the evolution of crypto, and it's all about communities and building proper, stable businesses on this technology, and that's the way I see it now. So I was quite happy when I saw the way you wanted to do things on that front. I don't know what the latest news is. There's obviously a lot of feedback been coming in. And,
and in fact, on that note, Steve, during the live, I noticed that Nick opened it up during the live for folks to comment in real time, and that I think that took a lot of folks aback, because they were like, "I can comment in real time," and guess what? They did. He got comments from folks saying, like Commander said, many validators see their node purchase as an asset that can be passed down and inherited by future generations. And I won't go into the whole thing, but look, you can actually. So thank you, Biz, for putting that in the comments. So you can actually click on this link, go there, and you can read it. And it's a really good read. Again, whether you own a node or not, if you're an investor in this blockchain, it's important that you read this document so you understand more about your investment, right? So anyway, just something to be aware of. And
another thing about it, Odie, is that it's extremely important that with everything that Nick is talking about doing, and everything that the community wants, the community just needs to get involved in every aspect that they possibly can. Their voices need to be heard. They need to be out there. Any kind of issues that they see that maybe that doesn't sit well with them or anything, they have to voice that, because we have the opportunity with Nick to try to turn this around, and it's not going to be just all Nick. We need a community that's heavily involved in discussing and talking about the different points together. And everybody needs to be involved, and that's what I think is Nick's goals. He wants to do that, and that is purely 100% my goal. I want everybody involved, so down the road, all these people that are involved, it will be more successful, because we just didn't listen to one person. And I think the key to all this is you didn't get this with the other guy. So. And now here's your opportunity. All the time that you've been thinking, why are we doing this? Why this or that? Now's the time. Now is the time for the community to shine.
Absolutely. I love the way you said that, Chris. Thank you. Yes. Very important words from Chris. That it couldn't be more right. The more we get involved in the community, not just saying, well, I don't like this, I don't like that. Well, get involved. Don't just complain about it. Do something about it. If you be more engaging. I like the fact that Nick has made different teams that are all, you're focused on this, you're focused on that, you're focused on this, it's so forth. And somebody asked Nick a question. I can't remember what it was. I don't know if you guys remember on that live on Sunday, but Nick said, that's the great part. Now that I have folks that, this is the team lead for this aspect and that one, you can talk to them.
That was a question that they were talking about, if Vitruveo was gonna have their own YouTube channel. And
yes, thank you.
And he was like, well, that's and then I kind of answered it. Well, Riva, the marketing council lead, her and I talked and about when they were going to do that and all that kind of stuff. And when I was done, Nick was like, yeah, well, that's the cool part about it. Now I can, some of these questions, I can send them off to these other leads.
Yeah. And it's not that he doesn't want to. Yeah. But it's great that he's able to now start delegating, this person's, this team, that's their specialty, and so on and so on. And I think it's really awesome.
Well, that's what we want, though. I mean, we want,
we do.
We want these positions that are out there to be, I think all of them are going to be in a situation where they're all they're rotating. So, he talked about 60 to 90 days rotation and all that. And I think all of them should be. I think all of the people on there should be, because it gives people an opportunity to see behind the scenes and stuff. And if we're really gonna eliminate all the drama and the craziness of the DeFi world, there's going to have to be extreme transparency. And we don't want to give away trade secrets or personal information and stuff, but we want to see everything. And and we want the whole community engaged in everything that they see, whether it's good or bad. I'd rather us talk about it than it be something that that we don't even know about, and we don't know about till the last moment. So
absolutely. It kind of makes me think of the movie The Wizard of Oz. You have towards the end, she's trying to get the help of the wizard, right? And he's behind the curtain. And well, in the middle, right? She needs to
don't give any spoilers.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh my gosh, from almost 100 years ago.
Yeah, just in case you haven't seen the movie, don't listen to Odie right now.
Yeah. Do. Right,
but
go on, carry on.
The previous regime, kind of talking to Dad Bod veterans comment, seemed an awful lot like the wizard, where he's like, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. He had his persona that Dorothy is he had that face, if you will, that he wanted her to interact with, and that's the only side of him that he wanted her to see. But we get to work with the wizard. He's not hiding anywhere. His name is Nick. And
and another thing too is, we've seen that. Okay, we've all seen that before, and we don't want to be a part of that. We don't want any of that anymore. So the way I feel about it is that we've seen it the way it was, and it's not going to be successful if we keep doing it the way it was. Because to me, and this is just my opinion, I don't think that there was ever going to be a blockchain. I agree. I think that it was constant delay. It was a constant coming up with. I took a shower and came up with a new idea thing, and it was like,
oh God, yes.
Wait a minute, why don't we put this out here? Why don't we know more about it? So that's my thing. So, and I don't want to be a part of that if we go that way. So
I found myself thinking that same thought, Chris, over the months this year. Like, okay, first we were given a absolutely impossible goal of having the blockchain done in 2 months or 3 months, I guess it was November, December, January. Yeah. And then, that got delayed. That I was like, okay, I'm irritated, but I get it.
One thing to think, I know where you're getting at, but just to stop right there is that there was no way this blockchain was going to launch at that time frame with all these gimmicks that he had that was going to be a part of it. And that's what was selling everybody. He was selling everybody all along the way. And if it was just a blockchain, if it was just a normal blockchain and no special things, then definitely. But then it's like all these different things, and then it'd be the delay was there, and then there would be something else added, and then it would be like, another delay, and then it would be, and it was like, okay, I don't get it. But if it was just a regular blockchain, we would never have any of these issues,
Yeah, and exactly. And the fact that he kept bringing, you mentioned earlier, that he kept bringing up new ideas. Like, I was in the shower, I was sitting on the toilet or something, and I came up with a new epiphany, and yet changing. Oh, sorry guys, my new epiphany is going to put this blockchain out another couple of months. And I was like, why? Okay, I don't care how visionary you are. You could be the Stephen Hawking of crypto and the genius of all geniuses. That it was starting to wear thin on a lot of
but it was also a really good thing, because we all fell for it, hook, line, and sinker too, because he'd come up with an idea and we're like, whoa, that is really neat. Oh, by the way, it's never going to happen. But we're sitting there going, oh yeah, I think that's really great. That's really good. A lot of ways to get your passive income. you know, and all these different avenues. And it's like, good Lord, we should have been a lot smarter, a lot sooner.
Yeah, true enough. Yeah. It still smarts thinking about being duped myself. I like to think of myself as an incredibly good judge of character, and it served me well throughout my 54 years. I'm not always right, but I tend to be right an awful lot more than I'm wrong. Uh, Very few times am I not. But yeah, he pulled the wool over my eyes and so many of ours. And yeah, but the nice thing is we can move on. We have a hope. We have a hope. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. I was just thinking, yeah, like when it comes to like the way like Nick is operating. I mean, the first thing that Nick did when he did start taking over the reins is say, right, we need to do some pruning here, because over the last months there'd been so much, you call it feature creep in programming terms. There's so many features been added and so much complexity put in there. It's like what we're going to do, right? So then I think at first it was all about, right, to release the blockchain. This is Nick talking now. To release the blockchain, we can release it with XYZ, and we can introduce like ABC later on, and
Yeah.
can we do it that way? And and there was all that like to-ing and fro-ing, all that kind of thing. But like right now, we're in the position where Nick's in charge. He does not want to do feature creep. He doesn't. He's not coming along and saying, okay, we've got all these other things. Yeah, there's other things that he wants to put in there, which is to do with giving rewards to the node holders. It's looking at what's the requirements for the community. The community that have invested in what's going to be launched, and it looks like he's definitely got a priority on that front to make sure as a community we're happy with what is being put together, to the point where he puts a document up and say, right, there you go, like put the comments on there and give feedback, because whatever we come to, we've all got to be happy. I mean, we're not all going to be happy. There's going to be some people not happy, some people elated, I don't know, but you never please everybody. But the way that it's going now is that he has a definitive map on where it's going, and then being able to introduce all these other people to actually work in different aspects, whether it's marketing or the legal side. It's good to have all these people that then he doesn't need to be like thinking about everything all the time, because he's only one person. So hopefully, like now, there's more momentum that can happen.
We got a lawyer.
Yeah, and she's in Dubai. She's in Dubai as well. Eh?
Yeah.
And
too bad we
who
didn't
else
meet
is in?
her last year.
What's it called?
Camellia?
There's 3 people altogether in Dubai, like developer.
Oh yeah. So the lawyer. Oh gosh, who was? Yeah,
I always pronounce his name wrong, so I don't want to say it wrong. But it starts with P. Yeah, so yeah, that's it. Yeah,
And
but Prabhu, that's it. Yeah, so.
Oh, Prabhu, yeah, that's right. I met him, but I didn't talk to him much because I'm not
I talked to him. So when we're in Dubai, I as a developer myself, I made a point of talking to him. I made a point of talking to Nick. Now in Dubai, I'll be honest, I got on with Nick, but it felt like Nick was holding back from talking to me too much, and maybe he thought I was one of a spy to BL or something like that. I don't know, because he was always like busy on the phone or whatever, Yeah. But certainly the vibe I got back from both of them is that they knew what they were talking about, and that's. I was just doing a bit of due diligence for me, at the time, and so it was good to get a positive feedback on that front all them months ago. That these guys, they know what they're talking about. So so it's a positive thing I'm actually saying, by the way.
I kicked myself on the way home from Dubai, and I thought, you know what, I should have been more assertive to get to know Prabhu a little bit. I actually
Mm.
interviewed him, but I never aired it. I didn't interview the way I wanted. I didn't ask all the questions I wanted, but I did. I interviewed him. I interviewed Brian. I didn't interview Saeed, and I should have.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
very intimidated actually by Saeed. And
No,
if you're watching right
Saeed's
now, my
great.
friend, I mean,
He
dude
wants to
was-
take you out racing.
I know. So I got to go back to the UAE because I have a supercar ride
Yeah,
waiting for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. He offered, right? So I'll
Yeah, he
take him
did.
up on
Yeah, yeah.
that.
I'll be a
But,
witness.
yeah, he exuded this confidence and just
Yeah.
this worldliness that I was like, I can't talk to this guy because I'll sound stupid. and Nick too. Nick, I remember seeing him in the hotel. You know how we ate breakfast down there in the
Yeah.
there. And he was there at one of the tables, and I was very intimidated by Nick. And I usually am not very easily intimidated. I'll just introduce myself. Hey, I'm Odie,
Mind you,
or
he
whatever.
could have been sat there with his bright, big sunglasses.
He did.
Because
He had
that's
those
his
blue
image.
sunglasses on.
Yeah,
and he was
at the
just sitting
breakfast
there
table
drinking his
inside.
chai and- yeah, and he wasn't talking much either. He wasn't talking to anybody. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to
No.
bother him. I don't really know
Yeah.
who you are. I just know that Bobby knew who he was. I've mentioned
Yeah.
in previous lives. For those that don't know, my buddy Bobby is a software engineer. He's been one for a very long time. And he told me later that, yeah, I've been following Nick. I know who Nick Caliani is in Tech
Yeah.
Bubble. He says, I'm in that business, so I've been following him for a long time. And when Bobby tells me something about that type of stuff, I listen because it's like, whoa, wait a minute. He knows this guy. But that was all that I found out. And then really nothing until recently when Nick decided to take over the project. But when my buddy who is in that business says that's the guy you need to listen to, that carries a lot of weight.
Yeah, so it's really good that that we did interview like Saeed, and we did interview Nick, obviously for a different side
Yeah.
sort of documentary that we put out on that. But
Mhm.
there's actually a lot of extra sort of questions and answers and everything that we did get talking to Nick, and you look at like previous experience that he's had, and when he talks about the Amazon and the work that he's done in the art industry, it's quite interesting. And if I just talk for a minute about the art industry, and like we're working on a documentary called Crypto Gold Rush, and we've been filming for the last 2 years, and some filming and some of the questions that we asked both Nick and Saeed are actually more for that documentary than anything else as well. But over the 2 years, we've interviewed quite a few interesting people when it comes to art. One was some guys from. I forgot exactly the country, to be honest. It was Central America, but the important thing is that they had like gold and silver mines. It might have been Bolivia, somewhere like that. But anyway, so they had gold and silver mines, and they weren't super profitable, but they were opening the mines so like more sort of locals could do work there as well. And part of the way that they were actually releasing the mine side of things is by selling NFTs that tied into the mining. But every time people would buy into the mining side of things, it would actually release part of the rainforest. So it must be somewhere where there's rainforest as well. And anyway, long story short, you're buying NFTs and it's actually saving the rainforest. And it's like, right, this is just craziness. And then another time we were interviewing these guys from Mongolia, and I might have mentioned this before, but they were grassroots. They were working with grassroots artists in Mongolia, in local like villages and small towns, and they were putting the artworks into NFT form and selling them around the world, and the money would go back into the local community. So when it comes to art, there's a lot of stuff that can happen that actually can involve rural communities that may or may not have too much knowledge of technology, but that there are people in place that can help provide technology and actually give art from around the world a bigger platform. So I can understand some of what Nick is saying for the vision that he has, and the fact that he's already been into the Amazon and he's done a lot of work with artists, and he definitely has a passion for empowering women in arts and business as well, so he's got a lot of good ethics going on. I like it,
Yeah.
and this is the platform to differentiate from other blockchains, so it has the potential to do some good things from where I'm looking. Yeah.
And he doesn't do the whole hopium sensationalism. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it if it's done in the right way and in moderation.
Yeah.
I like how he, and that is what it is. I think it's maybe because it's a fresh, different way of going about it. I do like how Nick goes about this. He's methodical. He's extremely intelligent. It's obvious. I mean, you talk to him or watch him, up here. And yeah, it's just, you can see that he has a vision and he knows what he wants. I mean, dude is hyper focused. He knows exactly where he wants to go. It's not, well, we'll see how it goes. No.
And if somebody asks him a question as well, and one thing I like about him, if somebody asks him a question, he doesn't instantly pound them into the ground and say, why are you so stupid asking such a stupid question, right? Because in my world, there's no question that's a stupid question. I'd be the one in a room full of guys working at Ericsson or other big companies, and I'd be the one putting my hand up to ask a question that I think everybody needs to know the answer, even though when I'm putting my hand up, I already know the answer. I just need to clarify certain parts of it. And Nick is the person that he'll talk through exactly what he means, and in a way that we can understand. So.
Yeah, I like that, and he leaves himself available almost around the clock to answer questions. Yeah, he's a very easygoing guy. He doesn't have any time for tomfoolery. I mean, maybe I'll rephrase that. He doesn't have time for questions that have no. What's the way I want to say it? That don't have purpose behind them. Complaining questions. Right. I don't know if that's a good way to say it. But.
I think it's a different one. It's like somebody, they're not asking a stupid question. They're asking a leading question just to try and ruffle feathers, and they're up to no good. Some questions are questions that serve no purpose. They're just, they're just
or their purpose is to incite, negativity.
Exactly.
Either one of those. Yeah, take it. Yeah.
We all know that.
I'm glad that he's very. Nope, I will not answer that question. I'm not giving that the time of day. I like that about him. It's like, man, pay attention.
I think the hopium part is on us as YouTubers and the stuff. And I think that's more along the lines of, I don't want to be that hopium person. I don't want to be that.
Exactly.
I want Nick to give us facts and information. And I want us to help the community get informed and digest that information. But I don't want to be like, oh, yeah, this sucker's going to be $1,000 day one, man. You're going to be like, I don't want any of that stuff.
It's not our style, is it? It's not our style. Even with Cosmic, that is not our style. That is not our style. Our style is different. It's about laying the facts of this is what we're doing. And if you like it, you can be part of it. If you don't like it, you don't need to be part of it, and that's the same thing with Nick. Of course, there's thousands of people that are part of the ride, whether they like it or not, because they're already part of the ride, and this is the audience that he's got to talk to. But he doesn't do it in a, like you say, an opium way, where it's like, this time next week we're going to be millionaires. It's like, what's the point in even saying that?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, because to me, it's like, this is the way I see most of the community can be, is that you can sit back, and I would like everybody to participate, but you could honestly just sit back and be like, you know what, I'm not going to get mixed up in all this stuff. I'll just let them prove it to me, because a lot of people have already sacrificed. They have their funds in there and everything like that. They're just see what happens, But at the same time, you want to be engaged because of the fact that even if you sat back for a while just to see how they were doing, I mean, this could be something that would be very beneficial to a lot of people for a very long time. And if you see something now or you're engaged now, you could be the difference. You could literally be the difference in making this blockchain extremely successful. So, I mean, it's kind of one of those things, but at the same time, it's on us. We can't. We need to make sure that we're not selling anybody anything. This is what they're doing. This is if you have a question, that I'll try to verify it and all that. But price predictions, no. I'll predict this. It's worth nothing right now.
Exactly.
So maybe later on it'll be something, but right now I can't tell you. But I'll make my price predictions the day after the price. How about that? So whatever
we can have fun with that, right?
Yeah. So whatever the price was yesterday, that's my prediction.
Exactly. And we can have fun with that. I mean, just out of hand. It'll be $50 or maybe like 35 or whatever. Yeah, we've gone up and down that roller coaster, haven't we? And
one other thing too, that we were talking about Jamelia Greer. I would highly recommend everybody, if you have a Spotify account or Apple podcast or something, go check out her podcast. Anybody that has listened to her podcast will know exactly what I'm talking about. It is in your best interest to go listen to as many of them that you possibly can. And if you can't listen to all of them, try to get up to the one that she talks about FTX, because you are going to have a lot of insight into who she is and what she could do for the community. So as far as I'll go, but highly recommended to check out her podcast.
On that live last week, was it Friday when he brought the team on and you were on there? Was it?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. And I immediately keyed in on, or homed in on, when you said that when he introduced her, that you had said you'd already been listening to her for a while. And I found that very powerful. I'm like, wow, you know who this person is.
Yes.
Before she was even brought on. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have we've scheduled. Well, it's not scheduled yet because of a conflict, but like a discussion between her and I down the road.
That's
so
nice.
She's a very nice, very just an excellent, super intelligent person, and I'm telling you, if you take any advice from me, go listen to her podcast wherever, on any device that you have. It will be worth your time. And they're very recent. It's not like she said this 3 or 4 years ago. They're very, very recent. So you will be very, it'll start the ball rolling in your mind, and you'll be very happy that you did it.
Nice.
That's cool. Yeah, you could tell when she was introduced and talked about herself, and good Lord, the resume of everybody that was on that live, the new team members, the leads and such, blew me away. They all know, they're experts in what they do. Jamelia, I didn't count how many years, but she's been a lawyer for a couple decades, I think is what I surmised from her.
I would think that if you listen to her podcast, you'll get a very good understanding of it. Just one thing in particular is that she was pregnant while she was taking the bar. And wow. It was a rough time for her, just for her pregnancy, and she passed the bar the first time. So it was tough
while she was pregnant.
Yeah, she's like, not saying that other people can't do it and stuff like that, but I'm telling you, when I don't feel good, it's going to be a tough bar exam for me. But
that's stressful and hard enough. I can imagine, just if you're running on all cylinders, right? I mean, good Lord, more respect.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on that panel that were very, very impressive and everything, and that's great. And I'm very excited about what they'll do in the future. But at the same time, my thing is, their resumes could be the most awesome ever. I mean, we need to bring it to the table. We need to bring it to the table, get the blockchain going. We need to have the community involved, and all these great people, these people that are out in the chat and in the community. We don't see their resumes. Their resumes can be pretty long and distinguished too. We need every bit of everybody's voice along with these people on these councils. So
and that's the good thing. I think, you know, in the community, there's a lot of people out there that've got skills, lots of varied skills, and our job is to back up the guys that are there on the front line, like doing the work and that. And so, you know, we're not like double guessing what they're doing, but what we are doing is we're validating that, yeah, these are good decisions, and it's good to be vocal about what you do like, that's happening as well, I think.
Right, and as long as the council is legitimately representation of the community, and you know, and they really if everybody's focus from Nick all the way to the last investor is what's best for the community, if that is your true intention, I will support 100% anybody and everybody if that's your true intention. And I think we can all unite around that. So if whatever anybody says, whether we like it or not, is your intention that you want what's best for the community? Yes. Okay. I'll listen to you.
Yeah. Kelly Production says, I do believe within time, especially when the peak of the bull run, maybe early 2025, we will all be handsomely rewarded as long as we organically onboard projects. And yes, we all need to help. Yeah, that's a good.
I think one thing I think Chris said earlier is we've got to remember that this is the birth of a blockchain, and the blockchain, it's like the birth of a star. The star or the blockchain, the star in this case is the blockchain. It's around for a long time, you know.
Yeah.
This is not a project where we're creating something that's going to be around for 2 or 3 years and then it's served its purpose and the business closes down and everybody goes home. No, it's a blockchain, you know, and a blockchain is there to live indefinitely. And what could happen in a couple of years, who knows, you know. And it is all about getting people on board, like using the blockchain. And between now and 2025, there's a lot of time that that things can happen, and then going forward after that, who knows?
Yeah, historically, bull runs, or excuse me, from what I've gathered in my research with bull runs and bear markets, the average bear market throughout most of the 1900s into the early 2000s was averaging about 18 months. We're overdue. So it's anybody's guess. I mean, there's so many external factors that it's hard to count and list them all. But, you know, as far as affecting when the bull run's going to start. So I think we all hope it starts like tomorrow, but hopefully it'll be before 2025. I hope. But yeah, I like what Kelly was saying there. There's so many things that you can say about a blockchain. I like to look at blockchains kind of like a bank, sort of. Not exactly, but sort of. And what I mean by that is, so you have, like here in the United States, we have regular banking institutions, right? Bank of America is a big one. Wells Fargo is another big one. You know, there's some big banks, right? JP Morgan Bank, et cetera. Then you have what, I don't know if you have them over in Europe, credit union, or if there's a name, it's a smaller, almost a community bank, sort of. But they're smaller banks, and they go about like they'll give loans they go about giving like a home loan or a car loan. It's a little bit different. Like if you're a member of that credit union, then you get perks and certain things. And I kind of look at our starting of a blockchain, Vitruveo, as kind of like a credit union that hopefully it'll get big enough that it'll turn into a big bank at some point. But it's going to take time. I mean, it's like a snowball, right? It's going to start rolling down the hill and it's small. And hopefully, you know, we'll be able to get this to make the right decisions. And if we make some decisions that don't work so well, we learn from it and we move on. And I know that Nick is huge about that. He's the first one to say, I'm not perfect. I'm the first one to say about myself, I'm not perfect. And I would, if someone says, hey, you did that wrong, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're right, I'm sorry, own up to it and move on. And that's what Nick does. So I think I have an affinity with him for that, amongst other things. I like that part about people. It's like, I don't know everything, and I'm the first one to say it. And you're human, and move on. Nobody can be right all the time. On my live, I'm always right.
Yeah. I'm going to say you must always be right. It's your show,
Yeah,
So.
I'm pretty sure that's like, didn't we sign like a waiver when you came on here? We're like, Odie's always right.
Yeah. Don't say something wrong because Odie's always right.
Yeah, I'll ban you both. Yeah, I know. But when I'm on your live, you're always right. So.
No, most of the time I'm wrong, and people are explaining to me why.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe just because all three of us, we're guys of
a certain age.
I
knew where you were going.
Young men.
We're young old people.
Yeah, just because I'm like 3 weeks or 2 weeks older than you, you gotta push it. You gotta push it.
I think that it's nice. You get to a certain point in your life and you go, some of these things don't matter to me anymore. I don't have to know everything, every little step that goes on with his blockchain. I don't need to know all that minutia. I need to know the big stuff. That I'm speaking about me personally. I don't need to know every little thing. And I'm not putting anybody down who wants or feels they need to know everything. But I will say that I'm just past that. I'm 54. I don't care about all the little stuff. I really don't. There are some folks in the Discord who almost look like they're going to lose their minds by how they type what they type. And it's like, I just need to know this. I just need to know that. Yeah. And I'm like, my word to you is, don't sweat the little stuff. If you're invested in Microsoft or Apple stock or any big name company, you don't get to know all the little stuff. I don't know if you know that. You invest in the traditional stock market. You get to know about the stuff that they have to report to the SEC and some other things that they're legally obligated to. But there's a lot of things that you don't get to know about. They don't have AMAs where the leads of their different departments come on and do a live so the world can see them. They got better, they go off and they're trying to make the price of the stock go up and do, good decisions. In this world that we're in called DeFi and the internet and all that other stuff, we kind of have this nice opportunity where the new team at Vitruveo has been kind enough to let us know who they are and, their experience to let us get.
This is a big thing. This is a big thing that the entire team on camera. It's like,
Well,
don't underestimate it.
That's not even the entire team.
No.
Yeah, I thank you actually for correcting me, Chris, because that's true.
Quite a few, but there are a few other ones,
and some of them aren't going to show, right? Because Chris and Steve, he said on that live,
so
not everybody wants
developers.
to be. Yeah, their developers like the last thing they want to do is be on a freaking camera. They got better stuff to do, like build the blockchain. And not everybody wants to do what we do.
But I mean that I think it's I think that what we need and what I can kind of say that we've been demanding, and I think that Nick is open to it, is we need unbelievably transparent information. I mean, my thing would be the first everything that comes up. They say, "Oh, should we show the community this or whatever?" Yes, when in doubt, show everything that we got. Nothing else, because even if it's something that may not go over well, I would rather have the community involved saying, okay, this is how we fix it, and that's what I look forward to. But at the same time, everybody needs to understand that maybe a year from now, I'd like to see people saying, yeah, I've made a little bit of money with it, or something. And
something.
If in 2 years people could say, hey, you know what? I got my full return back from what I sacrificed a few years ago. That to me would be like the biggest party ever.
Oh, you got it right, man.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I'm saying. Now, that's what I say. Like 2 years from now, is I don't know
Yeah.
about that. I don't know about that comment down there, but I don't think that name is very nice.
The very last one.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I've read several places where that's a very derogatory term. So I don't know if they're being serious or if that's like.
The question itself looks legitimate, but the name I didn't know that about that. It's
Yeah.
derogatory in some cultures, huh?
Yeah, that
Okay.
wording and everything like that is seriously
Yeah.
considered.
Well, they could change their name and change your name and then put a question up again. It's like.
Well, I mean, any news when we do migrate from Vol to Vitruveo, there is no migration. There is no Vol, so you can just
Exactly. Yeah.
that's completely gone. So if you're thinking that now, what you sacrificed, that looks like. I mean, we have to see the tokenomics and everything like that. But from what Nick's talking about, he's going to try to honor as much of that as possible, if not all. I would assume it'd be. My first assumption would be all, and then boosters would be to accelerate the vesting period. But and when it comes to vol, just get that out of your mind. There is no such thing as vol, and there will never be anything. Yeah. So
if you do want to keep up with what's going on in the Discord. Oh, I'm sorry, Chris. Go.
Yeah, but the timing is that real soon we should see RC1, and then the rest of them will follow. So I think there will be just an airdrop. I think. I mean, is that's how that
makes
work,
sense?
Right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I mean, how else would they do it, really?
Oh, and I think it's very important that we bring up. I don't know if any, most of the people watching are pretty educated and everything, but the NFT that was dropped into your wallets, it has no value whatsoever. It is just a placeholder. It is something saying that you are an OG. You can actually validate in the Discords for the different channels that you would have access to. Doesn't mean anything else. It's
only reason at the moment, isn't it? That's the only reason for it. Yeah.
And I actually believe that they would, if they did do something like that, that it would be something of value later on. It's not going to be that one. It's that was just to do it so that people could get into the channels that they had sacrificed for and everything. And if you didn't get it, put a ticket in. And there's only one person I've seen that says that they didn't get it, but it seems
that's good.
But it seems like everybody got it. But
I was able to get into all the channels that I should have access to. So I didn't realize it was going to be on Polygon. I haven't used Polygon in a while.
But at the same time, I don't even think you have to do anything. I went and saw mine. It was in my hidden folder. So I went to the hidden part. I saw it. And it's just, I was like, that's neat.
Yeah.
But it really just a validation for when you do the verification in the Discord. That's it. And I would imagine it's not going to go anywhere else after that.
And the if I may, sorry, Steve, just real quick, you can now verify multiple wallets. So if the Collabland bot that you use to verify access to different channels in the Vitruveo Discord, I have full nodes in 2 completely separate wallets, although I only needed the main one that I picked when I did KYC that has that NFT in it. But I have my bag that I sacrificed is in a completely separate wallet. And I also have my light nodes, or my backers, as they're now called, are in a different wallet. So I have 3 wallets with this project. 4, but 3 that I needed to verify. And it was easy. I was able to go into Collabland. It was actually a pain in the butt to do it on my phone. So I waited till I got home that night, and then I did it on my desktop computer, and it was just took me a couple of minutes to add those extra wallets. So now you can do that. So if you have them in different wallets.
One of the other things that they were talking about, and I saw it a lot, is when people were doing it on their phone or on the computer or whatever, when they would do it, sometimes it wouldn't show up. They would still say no access. So what they were recommending was to, back out, sign out of Discord and sign back in. And it seemed like from the comments, people were like, oh, okay, now I can see it. So
yeah. Oh, and they said in addition to that, clear
Clear
your
your phone.
cache.
Yeah.
Yeah, in MetaMask. Yeah, I know the mobile version. I try to stay away from using that as much as possible because it's limited compared to the desktop or when I use my laptop. But yeah, I was able to. I can see the NFTs on my desktop version, no problem. So, but yeah, so hopefully that's helpful to everybody to know about. There's still many things that are coming. We have. We're going to wrap up here in just a minute. The RC1 candidate is pending. It is imminent. It is coming out within days. We don't have an exact date for those of you that can't live without knowing the exact date. Don't have an exact date. It's going to be any day now. They're trying to make sure that they do it right, because once you launch it, it's out in the wild. You want to not have any possible way for someone to exploit the contract, et cetera, et cetera. So please be patient. We are right there. We're on the precipice of something amazing. And we're going to have RC1. And then when we hit certain metrics, might take a couple of weeks to a month, I think is kind of what Nick has hinted at. When we finally hit certain metrics, we'll go to RC2 of the blockchain. And then when those metrics are met, which might be a couple of weeks to another month, possibly, then RC, or not RC3, it would be mainnet, actual full out there in the wild. It's done, dude. But I'm excited. We actually have progress that has been made, and Nick is here for the long haul. I appreciate his time. I invited him onto this live, and he told me that he had a meeting that he had to go to that he, I guess, had to cancel or something, and he couldn't cancel 2 days in a row. So he said he'll try to make it, sometime in one of the coming weeks. But my time frame, I know, is, I mean, I'm on the West Coast, same time zone as Nick. So this is kind of at the beginning of a work day for the average person. Not easy to join. So I don't expect him to be able to ever join me on this one. But anyway, if anybody has any other questions, please do feel free to hit us up in our in the Vitruveo Discord. We have the Cosmic Force Discord. And if you're not in there, why? Why are you not in it? Come on, man. What are you doing? If you listen, Cosmic Force, let me just end with this. So I'll leave my final thought and then I'll ask you guys for yours. So Cosmic Force, it's not just a video game. It's not just its own gaming specific blockchain. It's both. You can play and not give a hoot about investing or making money, and that's fine. That there's nothing wrong with that. But Cosmic Force is more than a game. It also has this side where you can invest in it, right? So you can make passive income when it launches from owning nodes and light nodes. You can own a percentage of planets where people are going to, which is going to be a huge part of the game. Manufacturing and industry and commerce is going to be a big aspect of this universe. When people do that, you can have fun and just do that and blow people up and sell things in the market, make money. But transactions, you can make crypto with that, with the Cosmic Coin and the CFT token, and you can make money while you're playing the game, or you can own a node or just own a percentage of the planet. Any land that's purchased or sold, any facilities that are bought and sold, everything, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I'm on 100% here. You can make money. You can make money. You can just sit back and go, I don't play video games, but I make money from other people playing video games. How cool is that? I've never made a penny. I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars paying for playing video games. So and the Cosmic Force blockchain is going to allow unlimited amount of developers to be able to bring their gaming projects onto a gaming specific blockchain. That is beyond cool to me and makes me very excited. I'm very excited. Steve, anything you wanted to add or anything else you want to talk about? Any final thoughts?
I don't think I need to add anything to that. I think you're absolutely right. I think that the only thing I want to say is that, Cosmic Force is a dream. It's a story. It becomes a bit of a lifestyle and gaming, and we're building a new universe and a new cosmos. So it's all about the story. It's about the ride and everything that's going on. So we just want it to be enjoyable. So whatever aspect people get into it, it's an enjoyable journey, and it's all about the journey. It's not about the destination, because the destination, there isn't going to be an end to the destination. It's a story, like the never-ending story. It's going to continue and continue, like Star Wars. You know, that's right.
Mhm.
It's like Star Wars, but it's not Star Wars.
Yeah, I like it. Chris, lay it down.
I don't think I have a whole lot to offer. I mean, I think everything has been said, and I enjoy the time with you guys and what you guys talk about and all that. I mean, like I said, I think the community's doing some good stuff, and like I said, I encourage the community to stay involved as much as possible, and put your thoughts behind everything and put your opinion out there. So I haven't seen it, but Mellifella Crypto usually does his live for tonight.
Tuesdays.
8 p.m.
Yeah.
Is it
You
7 p.m. Central?
8. Yeah. So it'd be 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Which
Okay.
8 Eastern is the correct time. Everybody else
Okay,
is wrong.
8 Eastern.
So,
Okay. That's
And
easier, I think.
you got to crack open the red wine and or
Oh,
whiskey
yeah.
or whatever with that one, haven't you?
Well, making poor decisions wasn't there last week, but
Oh, he wasn't?
he did talk about a wine, so I wonder what it's going to be tonight. So.
Yeah.
See, I'm too stupid. I don't know any of that kind of stuff. Those guys are way over my head with all this stuff. I don't know how to drink. You pair this wine with this kind of food. Those guys are just incredibly intelligent. I love watching them. And I like joining when I can. I haven't been able to join much the last month or so with what's going on with work. So I'm trying to join as lives when I can. But I told you guys I've taken on a second job, which is a labor of love. I'm a program director for an up-and-coming new ninja gym in my local area. And last weekend, we received all of the mats, which are custom built and is by far the most expensive part of the gym. We received $50,000 worth of mats that they ordered months ago. 50 grand just in mats. It's unreal how much
is
it's by far the single most expensive part of the gym. But it was fun because I got to be part of the buying process. The owners asked me, so what obstacles do we need to buy? So they had me get on a video call with them, and we shared screens, and I showed them the cart at this one site that I went to, and they had their own cart. Their cart was like just a couple grand. My cart was over 10 grand worth of stuff, and they just bought crap their pants. And I said, well, you said put in the cart what we need for the gym. And I'm like, this isn't even all of it. I need to spend more of your money. And these guys are great. They're like, okay, whatever you say, we're just going to get it. And so it's been really cool to be a part of it. We're still looking for hiring a couple more. We need to interview a couple more coaches to add to our staff that we already have. And we're looking to do a soft opening in a couple weeks. Now, I know none of you lives in the Seattle area that watch this, so you won't be able to come take a look. But you guys know that's a big part of my life. Ninja Warrior is a huge part of what I love. It's an outlet for me that it makes me me, and I love it. You know, everybody does their thing. I like throwing myself through the air and doing fun stuff. I actually just paid for. I'm going to be flying down to Phoenix, Arizona in the middle of next month, so just over 4 weeks from now. And I'm going to do I'm going to compete in the first area competition of the season for my ninja league, one of the 3 ninja leagues that I'm a member of. And we start again. Our season basically goes 365 days a year. So the season that I competed in was season 8 of the Ultimate Ninja Athlete Association. And that culminated in the World Championships that Bobby and I qualified for, and we competed in Orlando, Florida last month, and or end of July. And the very next day after Worlds was done, season 9 started. But this is the first one I can get into. So anyway, yeah, I'm excited. That's a part of me, and I'll always share it. So Thank you both, gentlemen, for being here. Thank you to everyone in the audience. As always, it means a lot to me that you're willing to listen to what we have to say, because I ramble sometimes, and
so do I.
Don't we all?
Yeah. Us old
Don't we
guys,
all?
that's what we do.
We can't
So,
help it.
Thanks again for being here. Don't be sure to tune in to Mellifella Crypto with Corks and Crypto tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully I can join, but if I can't, I'll at least be watching. Be thankful for the opportunities you come across in life. Love hard on your family, and always remember, chance favors the prepared mind. Come on. Not playing, is it? Oh, it's not working. Well, we're still live, but I'm fine, and it's not working. So we'll catch you on the next one.